So imagine that you're working in your garage on your car or on your vehicle. You need a bracket drilled in tap so you can mount on your vehicle. And you don't have the tools at home, so you take it to a machine shop to get taps so you can bolt it on. Tapping is just internal threads, so you just put a bolt through it. Well, my name is Joey Enterline, and today I'm going to show you how to set up the CNC mill to drill and tap a hole. First step is to get all your tools ready. Now, you can have a multiple set of tools. Our first tool is going to be half-inch spot face drill, the spot drill. Our second tool is going to be the drill. Now the drill will vary on which tap size you're going to use. You have to look up on your chart. Well, today I'm going to be using a letter F drill, which is .257 in decimal. I'm going to be using the third tool, which is a 5/16 18 tap. 5/16 is just the overall diameter, 18 is the threads per inch. After you get your tool set up, you can get your piece of stock. And say we're going to be using aluminum. You come over to the control panel, and you go into your MDI mode, which is like conversation between you and the machine. Press program reverse. As you can see, you have a bunch of different tabs up on the top. First thing you want to make sure that's right, you go over to setup. Press your enter button, which is down here in the lower right corner. Go over to your work. You can select your work material, which is going to be aluminum alloy. And our work zero offset is going to be our G54, which is what we always program in. Our next is going to be our tools. Tool number 1 is our spot center. And our tool diameter is 1/2 inch, which is .50. Tool material is high speed steel, and as you can see the ATC forward, you can see what's in spindle number 2, which is a drill. We have our tool diameter set. Next, tool number 3, which is our tap. We have our tool diameter, which is .320, then our threads per inch. After you have all your setup done, go over to your drill. We're going to be doing multiple holes. And the first thing it comes to is our center drill. Our center drill is in spindle number 1, which I already have that set. Our center depth is how far it's going to go down. I like going like 40 thousandths. Center peck, I'm just going to keep it 40 thousandths because it's not going down that far, so you don't have to have it to get it out of the peck. Second thing we can set up is our drill tool, which is in spindle number 2. Our drill depth is going to be 450, which will clearance our part, so get a nice cut down on the bottom. Our drill peck, I'm going to have 200 thousandths just to allow it to peck down, allow coolant to get in for chip evacuation. Our last step is our tap tool, which is number 3, and I went down 1/2 inch just so it would thread down the whole way nice and clean. After you have all that set up, press F1 to go down into your drill table. And as you see, I already have in 3 holes programmed locations just to save on some time. And if you wanted to add another hole, all you do is hit insert and adds a 4th hole then. Before you start the machine, you want to make sure that you find 0, with which I use an edge finder. What you do with an edge finder, you have it off center. Whenever you bring it up onto the part, it will kind of center, then it will break off. You stop right as soon as it breaks off center. You go into your offset and make sure you're in your G54 work offset. And if you're coming in from the left side of the part and working like to your right to break it off center, you go to your x-axis, your part 0 set, and then you would add 100 thousandths, which is half the diameter of the tool. If you'd be coming in from the right side, you'd subtract that. And the same thing if you were working on your Y. If you're coming up from the bottom of the part, you would add your 100. If you're working from your top, you'd subtract 100. And I already edge found to save time. After you edge find and find 0, You get your 1-inch gauge block, and what you do with your 1-inch gauge block, you bring the tool down. I like to start down underneath and just work your way up until this barely slides under. And I'll give you an example. As you can see, it just barely slides in. After you have your tool height set, go into your offsets. Make sure you're in your tool offset, spindle number 1, and under your geometry, press tool offset measure, and it sets it 1 inch above the part. Since we're using 1-inch gauge block, then you have to go in and you just subtract your 1 inch, press enter, and then that'd be the top of your part, which is a 0. Go back into our MDI after you set all the tool heights. You do that with every tool, but I already did it just to save on some time. You go back in your program converse. All of our works, like that we programmed before, all of our X and Y locations is still the same. So you press F4, and it gives you 3 options to do. You can either select or create a program, which is the first option. Number 2, output the current program. Or number 3, output to MDI. Well, today we're going to output to our MDI. And as you can see, there's our program in the MDI. Spot drills first, which is tool number 1. Second is our drill. And third is our tap. Now that you have that output to the MDI, you can shut your doors. You can press cycle start. As you can see, first, all it's going to do is come down and it's going to spot drill where you're going to have your holes. Next, it's going to make a tool change and get your another F drill. Next, it's going to go up and get your tap. You never want to set your tap to tap down further than what it can, or else this is what will result. We'll break the tap in the hole. Now that the cycle's ended, you can open up the door, grab your air hose. Remove your part from the vise. As you can see, we have a nice threads the whole way down through. And if you're making a blind hole where it don't come the whole way down through the part, you never want to tap the whole way down like where you drilled. That's just for chip clearance in the bottom of the hole that will build up. And as I come over here to my poster, I just have the main steps, which is the set the tool heights, which is a major key, because if you don't, if it's set too high, it won't touch your part, or if it's set down too low, you could have a crash, and you don't want to crash your part out in industry. Edge finding, which is find your 0. That way you are going to be on your part and you know that you're going to be directly on your locations. And programming the machine, which if you didn't program the machine, you wouldn't be able to do anything. And that's about all I have today. Is there any questions?